All right, let's just dive right in. We're counting down the cars that are selling the slowest in America. You know, the ones just collecting dust on dealership lots. We're going to find out what makes a car so unwanted that it turns into this massive multi-million-dollar headache for the company that built it. So, if you've driven past a car dealership lately, you've probably noticed it, right? The lots are absolutely packed with brand new cars. But here's the thing, this isn't just the supply chain finally catching up. Nope, some of these models just aren't selling at all. And we're about to find out exactly why. The key number we're going to be looking at is called market day supply. It's actually pretty simple. If a car has a 200-day supply, it means it would take a full 200 days to sell every single one that's sitting on a lot right now. For a car company, a high number here is, well, it's a complete catastrophe. So let's kick off the countdown. Kicking things off at number 12, we have the Jeep Gladiator. Now, this is a vehicle that, on paper, seems like it should be a total home run. But in reality, it's kind of struggling to figure out what it even wants to be. It's sitting at a 196-day supply. That means there are almost 20,000 unsold Gladiators out there, with an average sticker price of $48,700. And the problem, it seems, is this fundamental compromise right at its very core. This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? That solid front axle is amazing for off-roading, sure. But on the highway, it makes the steering wander all over the place. And if you want it to be a truck, well, its bed is smaller than the competition. You throw in some engine reliability issues, and you can see why people are thinking twice. Okay, moving on to number 11, the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. Oh man, this one is a story about a dated design, a legendary name slapped on the completely wrong car, and one seriously alarming safety flaw. So the Eclipse Cross is sitting at a 200-day supply, averaging around 30 grand. But the real issue here is actually terrifying. Owners have been reporting that the collision mitigation system can just shut the car down. Can you imagine pulling out into traffic, you hit the gas, and nothing? The car just stops accelerating. It's a huge safety issue that pretty much overshadows everything else. Coming in at number 10 is the Hyundai Sonata. And this is a perfect example of a brand's past coming back to bite them. It all boils down to one incredibly important thing: trust. With a 201-day supply, this problem goes way beyond the car itself. You see, Hyundai's older engines had this awful reputation for just failing catastrophically. And now, owners of the new models are reporting their own issues. And word on the street is that dealerships are getting super aggressive about denying warranty claims. That broken trust is absolutely killing their sales. Now for a real shocker. At number 9, we have an American icon, the Ford Mustang. I mean, you would never expect to see this car on a list like this, but hey, the numbers don't lie. It has a 202-day supply, and the big problem seems to be that this new S650 generation just feels kind of lazy. It's really just a facelift of the old model, but with a giant screen slapped on the dash. So buyers are looking at that high price tag and thinking, you know what? I'd rather have a more special used Mach 1 or a GT350 for less money. Ford tried to please everyone and kind of ended up pleasing no one. All right, at number 8, we have the Mazda CX-90. This vehicle is Mazda's big attempt to go upmarket and compete with the premium brands, but it's being absolutely hammered by some pretty major first-year problems. The CX-90 has a 206-day supply, and it's not hard to see why. We're talking jerky transmissions, radiators that leak, and hybrid batteries that are failing on brand new cars. It's supposed to be this premium family SUV, but the online forums are basically screaming at people to lease it, not buy it, because nobody trusts its long-term reliability. And yet, dealers still won't cut the price. Okay, so we're about to cross a line here. The cars we've talked about so far, they've got issues. But from here on out, the numbers, they get truly severe. We are officially entering the danger zone. So our first car in this new territory is the BMW 8 Series. This is a gorgeous, powerful car with one massive, glaring problem. Buying a new one is, and I quote, financial suicide. Just look at these numbers. With a 207 days supply, the problem is crystal clear. A new 8 Series is over 112 grand. A 3-year-old one, it's half that. Why on earth would anyone choose to lose over $50,000 in just 3 years? Even wealthy buyers are taking a hard pass, especially when you factor in the sky-high maintenance costs. At number 6, we've got another Hyundai, the Santa Cruz. It was pitched as this clever, compact truck for people in the city, but its execution has just been a total disaster, especially when you put it next to its biggest rival. And this chart says it all, which is why it has a 222-day supply. The Ford Maverick just does everything better. The Santa Cruz has this jerky, frankly dangerous transmission and a cheap, plasticky interior. Meanwhile, the Maverick is more practical, has a better interior, a proven powertrain, and it's cheaper. The Santa Cruz really never stood a chance. Coming in at number 5 is the Mini convertible. This is a textbook case of a brand completely losing its way, forgetting what made it so special in the first place, and basically pricing itself right out of its own market. It's sitting at a 224-day supply with an average price of $45,000. Think about it. Mini used to be all about that fun go-kart handling and a manual transmission. Now the manual is gone, the inside is just screens like every other car on the road, and it costs $45,000. It's too expensive for young people, and it's not practical enough for older buyers. It's a car without an audience. Breaking into our top 4 is the Buick Envision. This vehicle is fighting an uphill battle on 2 fronts: a brand image that's gone stale, and quality control that is, to put it nicely, a complete lottery. I mean, this quote from an owner really says it all. With a staggering 267-day supply, buyers are basically facing a coin flip. One Envision might be totally fine, but the very next one off the line could be an electrical nightmare or have a software update that turns it into a giant $41,000 paperweight. That's a gamble most people just aren't willing to take. And now, the top 3. The numbers you are about to see are not just bad, they are catastrophic for a car company. These are the absolute biggest market failures sitting on dealer lots right now. Our number 3 disaster has a 406-day supply. Let that sink in. That is well over a year's worth of these cars just sitting there. And that car is the all-new Dodge Charger. Dodge spent a solid decade building its entire brand image around loud, V8 muscle cars, only to throw it all away. The new Charger is heavier, it's more expensive, and it comes with either a turbo 6-cylinder or as an EV. Their whole fan base feels completely betrayed. It gets so much worse. Number 2 has a market day supply of 463 days. Seriously, think about that. There is enough inventory sitting around right now to last all the way into 2028. This sales train wreck is the Jeep Grand Wagoneer. Jeep is asking for 6-figure luxury SUV money for a vehicle that is just riddled with inexcusable entry-level quality problems. I mean, let's be blunt. People are not going to pay $85,000 for a vehicle that has reports of engine failure before its first oil change. Then you add in the cheap materials and the truly mind-boggling decision to not put AC vents in the back of a family SUV, and yeah, you've got a recipe for a sales catastrophe. And now for number 1. The single slowest-selling, most unwanted new vehicle in America. The number is almost hard to believe. A 480 days supply. And there it is, the Volkswagen ID.4. This isn't just a car that's selling slowly. This is a first-generation EV experiment that has gone so disastrously wrong that it has basically poisoned the well for the entire brand. This just perfectly lays out the domino effect of failure. A simple, cheap 12-volt battery can die and make the entire car useless. The software is painfully slow. You can't even see the volume controls in the dark. But the final nail in the coffin? Volkswagen told early buyers their hardware was too old for new software updates, basically abandoning their first customers. The car's reputation is now just toxic. So after looking at all 12 of these vehicles, from the ones that are just unpopular to the ones that are outright disasters, a few really clear themes start to pop up that connect every single one of them. It really all boils down to 3 things. First, overpricing. You can't ask for luxury money without a luxury product, like with the Grand Wagoneer. Second, awful reliability. You can't sell cars with major flaws right out of the gate, like the CX-90 and the ID.4. And finally, you can't ignore your customers. You can't just abandon a brand identity that people loved, which is exactly what Dodge did with the Charger. And all of this leads to a pretty big question for all of us. In a world where all the information about a car's flaws is right at our fingertips, does blindly sticking with a brand still make sense? Or is it more important to be brutally honest about a vehicle's problems, no matter what badge is on the hood? It's definitely something to think about.